Welcome to Destination 25, the 60s. The 60s is just a very interesting time in American history and American culture. Um, in the late 60s, your hippie culture is going to come about, but in the early 60s, it's just going to be strictly focused on the civil rights movement and how African Americans, Spanish Americans, Native Americans will gain the rights they deserve in America. Even though the civil rights was strictly kind of had a, I don't want to say strictly, but had more focus on African Americans, other people in America or other diversity groups in America are also going to be in the struggle of gaining rights as well during this time. So, when we look at the civil rights movement, we really know that MLK or Martin Luther King Jr. is going to take the charge. But there's also a lot of civil rights organizations, such as SNCC, which is Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and that was for college students that wanted to get involved in the civil rights. You also had the NAACP, even though it was founded way earlier, I want to say the late 1800s, about. They are really going to step up and take the charge because they have a lot of funding that will assist the civil rights movement. You also have the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, where it's a lot of religious leaders that come together and discuss the problems with civil rights and kind of formulate marches and freedom rides to ensure that the Civil Rights Act is passed. You also have the big March on Washington that Martin Luther King Jr. will put together. We will also take a look at Kennedy's presidency. He comes into this presidency kind of at a rocky time for America, but I do feel like President Kennedy does handle it with grace and delicacy as much as he can as a president. So, Kennedy's presidency is going to focus on a few things: the Cuba Missile Crisis, which we're trying to de escalate Cuba from either attacking us or another country. And the Bay of Pigs is going to happen, which is an invasion that Kennedy puts in place, and it's unsuccessful. So that kind of dampens his presidency just a teeny tiny bit. Unfortunately, Kennedy will get assassinated for, I don't want to say being a radical president, but just being a president that saw all the American people. Um, and then Lyndon B. Johnson, who is his vice president, will come into play, and he will sign the Civil Rights Act of 1965, which will get African Americans more rights in the country. And he does that in honor of President Kennedy, as Martin Luther King Jr. was working with him. So you'll get a little glimpse of Lyndon B. Johnson's presidency, as he is a Texan and has um, some interesting ideas. And him as a president was he was a sharpshooter, just kind of said whatever was on his mind. So that was kind of a interesting adjustment for the American people, as President Kennedy was this kind of glamour of a president. He was young, he was handsome, he had a beautiful wife, he was charismatic, as Lyndon B. Johnson is a sharpshooter. So you'll see the difference in that as well. You do have a few assignments in this module. You do have your help desk for any general questions. You know, you can always email me. I just want to take this time to say you guys are doing great. You're doing an amazing job at getting these assignments done and making sure you stay on top of things. So I'm really proud of you guys, and I'll see you at the next destination.